Welcome to FinishlineWest. Today in our shop we're going to talk a little bit about how to protect your vehicle. Now, it's very important when you go off-road that all the bits that hang down are protected from rocks, debris, unseen obstacles, and one of the ways we're going to do that is by installing an aluminum skid plate to protect the front. Now today in our shop we have Kelly Ruiz from ASFIR 4x4, and she's going to talk a little bit about how to protect properly. So we're going to take this factory skid plate off, and you can hear how bad it rattles, and we're going to replace it with an aluminum skid plate from ASFIR. Stick around, we'll be right back. As promised, we are back. This young lady here is Kelly Ruiz, and she's from ASFIR 4x4. She's going to show us how to install this skid plate. She's going to talk a little bit about how it's made and why it's so important to protect the front end. Now, tell me a little bit about the factory skid plate. What do we got going on up here?
The factory skid plate's a good idea in theory, but as you can see, it's pretty small. Bigger's always better. But my big problem is, look at this. You got that protecting your vehicle? No thanks. You can see the ASFIR skid plate is a lot bigger. Plus, it's going to give you a lot more protection. It goes farther back, all the way to the cross member. So you've got protection all across the front engine piece.
Now, this piece that's hanging down right here, this is the oil pan. So if you were to dent this or even cut this open off-road, your day's over.
Your day's over, big time. But what we have, you'll see this cutout here in the skid plate that will allow you access right to your oil pan.
So you don't have to remove it to do an oil change?
Nope, there's a cover that goes over the skid plate, pull that off, 4 bolts, and you're right into your oil pan.
And on these new cars, the oil filter's up top. So all you're really worrying about is being able to open this, drain it, that's it.
Exactly.
So it's pretty simple. So what you're saying is this is so simple a girl can install it.
And that's what we're going to do. A girl's going to install the skid plate.
That's cool. I'm going to grab some tools, I'm going to get her loaded up, and we'll be right back.
Got the 4th factory bolt. I'm taking off the factory skid plate. This is what was protecting your engine.
Okay, here's the comparison. I want you to see two things. Two things are probably the most important. Number one, obviously, is the overall size and what you're replacing the factory piece with. And you can see wider, longer. That's number one. Number two, this is a piece of metal that you can literally bend in half. Okay? And this, worthless. Now, this is a 1/4 of an inch of aluminum. I can't even tell you in words how much better this is going to be. Plus the fact that it is super light, and you still get all that protection. So, we've got a basic hardware kit. I mean, it's so simple. Everything's laid out here on the floor so you can kind of get an idea what you're going to need. Basic hand tools is all it's going to be required to install. There's no cutting, no drilling, no welding.
Nope.
There may be a little cursing, but that's just because that's what I like to do. Let's get started.
With every ASFIR skid plate, you will get a complete hardware package, all the little bits and pieces that you need to install your skid plate, plus a handy guide on what your inventory is of nuts, bolts, washers, spacers, brackets, and everything you need. So what I have here is a bracket that will mount to the frame using the original factory bolts. Right here, right here. What you want to do is leave everything loose until you get the entire skid plate mounted.
The ASFIR product comes with every single nut, bolt, and washer you're going to need to install it.
Yes.
You are going to reuse 2 factory bolts.
Exactly.
And the rest of it is all from you guys.
Comes in the bag with a schematic and a sticker, and it gives you a great visual description on where everything goes. It's all numbered and itemized.
So this is what you're going to get. So anytime that the skid plate doesn't exactly touch something, you're going to use a barrel washer to keep it so it doesn't flex and bash in right there.
Exactly.
So all this stuff comes with it, and it comes with easy to follow instructions.
Yes.
And you're going to walk. I'm your slave. I will do what you ask.
Doesn't every girl want to hear that?
All right, let's get this on the vehicle.
Okay.
Here's the other socket.
Okay, so we line up the skid plate to that steel bracket, and it just tilts right in.
Wow.
We line up this bolt here.
There you go.
You just want to hand tighten it, not too tight. You got a lot of bolts to put in still.
Okay. So
That's going to hold it a little bit.
we can just kind of let this here, and now go to the back.
We're going to grab the two back bolts. Again, just hand snug. We basically have it on there loosely for now. Grab the rest of the bolts.
Okay, well, that seemed pretty simple. So you're using a lot of the OEM.
Yeah, there's no drilling, there's no cutting. You're using holes that are already existing in the vehicle, already threaded. Now, new off the lot, the installation is going to go lightning fast because there's been no flex to the vehicle, there's been no off-roading, there's been no settling.
No gravel inside the skid
No
plate?
gravel inside the skid plate. But with every vehicle, once it goes off-road, once it gets a little bump, a little shake to the frame,
Right.
it's just a matter of finesse.
But the other thing I noticed is that the holes are slotted to accommodate for that, so you can move
Yeah.
it around easy.
Yeah,
So,
every hole is, you'll see here, there's some slotting here.
Right.
These were slotted. You know, all of the major installation points are slotted, so
Okay.
you've got that wiggle room.
it's nice. It should be noted she's got a manicure.
Oh yeah, you won't even break a nail, you won't even chip your polish.
It's too late for me.
We'll get you a mani.
Sweet. What's
so,
next?
Checking all the holes here. Okay, we're back to the OEM bolts.
Okay.
These are actually the first two bolts that we took off. And now we're going to put them right back where they belong. Push up. Now, if we were all done, we'd go ahead and snug everything tight, and we'd be done and good for the day. But we've got one more plate to install, so we're going to move back and cover up that transmission.
Cool.
All right.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. Now we're removing these bolts because we're installing a second plate. Because of the modular design, the plates will go front to back. Pull that out. The back plate slides right underneath using the same bolt.
One right here.
Now on this particular skid plate, the only thing you need is there's 4 holes, 2 here, 2 here. There's only 2 holes drilled in the crossbeam. So we're only installing into the interior bolts. You're only losing 2 bolts. You're not really losing anything. So everything's installed. All we have to do is snug it up tight and we're good. Ta-da!
Okay, well that almost seemed too easy. How many vehicles do you cover?
We cover Ford, Chevy, Dodge, Nissan, Toyota, Jeep of course, Polaris side-by-side, and Isuzu.
Nice. Well, as you could see, it was a very, very easy installation. I mean, I can't imagine that anybody wouldn't want to tackle this job themselves. This is easier than washing and waxing your vehicle.
It's faster too.
And now we're protected. Now, the other thing which is really, it seems like it's really important is that it's got holes where they're supposed to be. This particular vehicle, like we said, is two-wheel drive. But in the four-wheel drive, when it has a differential, there's a place where you can actually drain the fluid for the diff, so you don't have to take the whole skid plate off.
No.
Change the oil,
Yeah.
not taking the whole skid plate off.
The oil plug drain is actually right here. You can see it's a nice big access panel. I can put my hand up there and get right to there, pull the plug. You don't have to take the skid plate off for your oil change.
And to do a drain and refill flush on the transmission,
Exactly.
you can even drain that. So, all right, it seems pretty simple. I like it. It's really nice.
Cool.
Thanks for coming.
You're welcome. My
All right.
pleasure.